Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're gonna do a little bit of maintenance to my Honda Civic 2008. We're gonna do a little quick oil change. Show you how to effectively conduct an oil change really quickly. Very easy, even for beginners. So I'm gonna start with the tools that we need. So with the tools that we need, you might wanna have some gloves. Maybe the disposable ones are probably gonna be so much more effective, but I have these right here that I love. But right now it's very difficult to find the disposable ones. Even in Harbor Freight, they're very hard to find. You're gonna need, well, any tool to remove the filter. This is freaking awesome. This is a really, really cool tool because with this particular tool, you just put in, you know, an eighth there, a half, 1/8 here, behind it, like that. And it basically opens up and it tightens onto the oil filter and it turns it like nothing. Like, it's so easy. I mean, it's just this thing. I would recommend getting this thing, whatever this thing is called. I forgot what it's called, but it's freaking fantastic. I've had it for years and I've only replaced this little thing here one time, and that's it. But other than that, this thing is fantastic. Then you're gonna need either 17 wrench, or you can use a ratchet with the 17mm socket. So it's up to you, whatever your preference. I personally like to use the actual ratchet because it's just more comfortable for me, but you can do whatever. So first, next thing you want to do, obviously I have this little creeper here, you know, Pittsburgh, really comfortable. You don't have to have that. You can put a cardboard. I've done it before. The next thing is you want to lift up the car. So I'm going to show you how to properly lift up the car. And what you want to do is, the easiest way to lift up the car is basically going to be from the front right here, as you could see right here. Right here. Okay. And the way you're gonna know that this is where you can lift the car up is because it's gonna have an arrow right here. Well, if you have your liner, but if you don't have your liner, it's gonna be the one in the middle. You can't miss it. Let me just do this. There we go. So obviously you're gonna put it on here, right here. Put the jack right there. You know, this is the front end of the vehicle. You could lift it here, and then you could put on the jack stands. Now, the way you properly put on the jack stands is that each car has like a slit. Let me move on in there a little bit here. Hold on. There you go. Put a little light. Let me zoom in real quick here. There you go. So, there you go. So, you want to put it right in the middle. And it should be like right in the center. This shouldn't be lopsided. You want to get a good jack stand. These are, I believe, Huskies. Yeah, these are Huskies. I have the locking pin. You don't have to use those with the locking pin, but this is just because extra precaution, extra safety, right? But that's how you put it on both sides, same way. As you can see here, I have it on both sides connected. The other side, the locking pin. And then, what you can do for additional protection, you can either remove a tire and put it down there, or you could do what I just did, and there's a tow hook right here, and I just keep the jack just kind of with a little tension. You don't have to put too much tension, just in case one of the jack stands fail. At least this is holding up the car to the point that you can slide yourself out from being crushed underneath the car, right? You don't want to get crushed. Definitely want to live. Anyhow, that's basically what you do. I didn't show it, but the act, but that's basically what you do to jack up your car. It's very simple. Jack it up to the top, and then you have, of course, these right here. This is also Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh. I've never had a problem with it. I've had this one for a long time. Let me go ahead and zoom out there. And 1 second here. All right, there we go. Let me zoom out. Okay, And you basically pull it up when you're setting it up. If you don't know how to do this, you just pull it up and it locks into place, and then you unlock it. The one that that I have has a little latch here. I'll show you guys later how to do that. But anyhow, let's go ahead and start with the oil change. The first thing you want to do is you want to remove the dipstick. So just move it out of the way. You want to go ahead and remove your oil cap here for your car. As you can see, mine has the original, so if yours doesn't have the original, it might not give you what the weight of the oil you're going to use. For this, from 2006 to 2011, you can use 5 watt 20. I use full synthetic, so I'm just going to remove that right now. I use full synthetic. The one that I've always used for my cars, all my cars, and I haven't had any issues with, is Castrol Edge high mileage. Well, not for every car the high mileage, obviously, but this car has over 100,000 miles, so that's why I'm being precaution. But normally I would just use the regular one, especially for my CRV, well, my wife's CRV. I use the regular one, not the high mileage. But for this vehicle, I mean, it's 2008. I think it has 102, 103,000 miles, something like that. So this one is for over 75,000 miles, and I love this stuff. 5 months or 5,000 miles you can drive on it, and it always has kept my engines completely safe, you know, from any type of knocking, and you know, I never had any knocking problems and things like that. So let's go ahead and move on to the bottom and start releasing the bolts. So for the people that have never done this before, it's very simple to find where your oil drain nut is. It's actually right on your oil pan. That's, of course, it's a, you know, this is assuming you have the original oil pan and you don't have an aftermarket one. But for the most part, you will know that for these cars, the nut's right here. It's a 17 bolt, 17 millimeter bolt. And on the original oil pan, it actually says, and it has an arrow there, you know, oil, engine oil. So very simple. The arrow is pointing straight to this. The arrow is pointing straight to this, so it's very easy to identify. And if, let's say, you have an aftermarket oil pan, that it's always going to be on your passenger side. That's where you're going to have that, on your passenger side. It's going to be here with your oil, okay? All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and let me put on my glove real quick. I also forgot to mention, you know, also you need something to be able to catch your oil. So I have this little pan right here that I bought in AutoZone. Been using it for a long time. I know I said I was going to use the ratchet right here to loosen the bolt, but let's just use a wrench. It's probably gonna be a lot easier. So let's do that, and then there we go. All right, so once that's a little loose, it should come right off. Bring in your oil right here, catch your oil, and just start loosening it up, and you start catching your oil. Now hopefully I don't get any oil on this glove. Don't really like to do that, so let's be careful here. It's easy to unscrew. Now again, if you've never done this before, have somebody who knows what they're doing with you the first time at least. Have a lot of rags. Trust me, you're gonna need them. Also have some rags to wipe stuff down. There's the oil. Because of this quarantine thing, I didn't reach the mileage, but you know, I still change it because it's either the mileage or the 5,000 miles or 5 months, whichever one occurs first. Now with this little thing here, it has a washer. I just replaced it. Always replace this washer. You can get it at the dealer. They're like, I think 40 cents or something like that. You can see here it comes with a washer. I just put it on there. Always replace that washer. That way you won't have any problems with leaking and stuff like that. So while that's draining out, I'm going to show you guys real quick on how to remove the oil filter, which is extremely easy as well. So this is the tool that I use. You stick it in there. This basically tightens up onto it like so. Very easy. And then we use the ratchet just to turn it slowly, and it starts loosening up very slowly. There you go. Now I'm not gonna do it too much yet because it'll start leaking oil. Well, it doesn't matter. Hold on. Let me adjust you guys here. There you go. Oh, that's oil's coming out. Let me go ahead and move this over since it's already there, so I can continue my work here. Be efficient. All right, so now stick it on there again. Just make sure it's, you open this up right here. Just open it up a little bit. There you go. Open it up and then let it get it right on there. And then we're gonna slowly release, and if you're gonna see some oil come down now. Okay, now it's completely loose, so there it goes. There's the oil. There we go. Now let that leak down a little bit. You see the oil on both ends now. Let that leak down a little bit just while we do this. And that's basically it. Once all the oil is out, I usually like to wait about 5 minutes, let it drain for 5 minutes. Adjust the oil pan. Just make sure you don't get it on the floor. Try not to dirty my driveway, but as you can see in the beginning of the video, I have some spots on the driveway I have to pressure washer out. So I gotta work on that, which is gonna happen soon. All right, so while we do that, let me go ahead and we wait and we move on to the next step. All right, now that it's completely drained out, you can see that it's barely dripping out. So it's been 5 minutes or so. About maybe 5-10 minutes. One thing that I want to point out is that make sure, because a lot of rookie mistakes is make sure that the rubber of the oil filter doesn't stay on here. Some people don't check that, and this is why I complete my own oil changes, because a lot of shops don't even look. They kind of remove the filter real quickly, put the other one on, and those $5 here, 5 minute, those type of 5 minute places can definitely be dangerous to your vehicle, especially wipe that down if they forget to do that. So let's go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So what I'm talking about is this right here. This thick rubber here. A lot of times they come off. Often than not, they do come off a lot. So one good way to avoid that from happening is to always grease them up a little bit. So take the good oil. So I'm gonna dip my finger here and put a little bit of oil around it. Just a little bit, just to weten the rubber before you put the oil filter back on. Now, another thing that people forget is that I never put this oil filter dry. Like, you see how there's nothing in there? I always at least put maybe about a quart or whatnot, or not a quart, I mean, just enough in there to fill it up that it's not gonna spill. So I kind of just keep pouring in the middle, and then carefully put the filter right back on. What that does is that since your oil has to travel down to your oil pump, this automatically avoids any type of risk of your metal components in your engine, rubbing on themselves, which is really bad for your engine, right? Them start knocking, listers start tripping and chirping. But anyway, so this is the oil that I'm going to use. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Let me go ahead and, I guess I can show you guys. Let me just, sorry about the shaking here. I guess I can show you here. Alright, I guess I can just show you guys real quick. Alright, here it is. Now you guys can have a good, you guys can see very well there. Alright, so I just basically put enough in there just to get it going, let me do this because I don't want to spill any oil on my tiles. Actually, you know what? Let's put it like that on the bag. Yeah, it's windy right now. There's some hurricane going on, but thank goodness that here we're fine. So I just put a little bit of oil in there in the center. Let it seep in. Put a little bit, just let it seep in. There we go. That's enough. So basically you can see, and now there's some oil in there, and that's all you need. You don't need to fill it up all the way. You can put just enough for whatever you're doing. Obviously this car takes about 4 quarts of oil, so this is a 5-quart jug here. And now that I took some out of it, I'm only gonna put like 3.5 first, and then I'm gonna check it and then add some more. All right, so let's go ahead and install this filter. So let me grab it right here, put it right there, and get on my creeper and bring you guys with me. All right, so it's very simple, righty tighty, lefty loosey. That's how I remember these things. When you're underneath here, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So just carefully turn it until it captures the grooves, and there you go. And that's it. That's how you put in your filter. Spin it all the way, hand tight. You know, don't use any tools. Just kind of hand tight. There we go. Actually, there we go. That's perfect. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and grab a rag here, dry this off a little bit, and I'm gonna put in the oil nut. Same concept, righty tighty. Get that on there. All right, so I finally got it on there. And now, of course, you loosen it going down, you tighten it going up. So righty tighty, lefty loosey. So you can either torque these things with a torque wrench, or just do it by hand like I am. And that's, you know, you could snug it. If you want to be, you know, more specific, you can actually go online and torque it. There you go. But I'm just gonna snug it. And I've been doing this for a long time, so I already know how much I can snug it without it leaking any oil. After a while, you kind of get used to it, but you can torque it. It has torque specifications. I also have a torque wrench. In one of my other videos, when I was installing the strut bar, I basically told you guys what the torque specs on that, but you can go online and look that up, and it has torque specs for your oil pan nut. Also, if you can see here, something hit my oil pan a while back and almost cracked the oil pan. Isn't that bizarre? It's kind of weird, right? All right, so after we're done, you pull out whatever you gotta pull out, and let's move on to the top. Start putting in the oil. Very simple, very easy to do this. Hopefully this is very helpful for whoever is doing this for the first time. I know I didn't put too much specifics. I tried to put as much specific things as possible, but sometimes it's hard to get this out of the way. So there's my oil pan. I know in the beginning I mentioned the tools, so you're gonna need one of these. Obviously we want to make sure we recycle them, keep our earth safe, and you can take it to Advance or AutoZone. You know, they all take the oil. So you need a funnel, and let's go ahead and start putting the oil in. After you put in the oil, remember it's about 4 quarts. Don't put anything more, and then check it, make sure that it's full, and once it's full, you're good to go. All right, so and once we put in the oil, you can go ahead and already put your dipstick back on here. Put it back in, because down in the bottom we already tightened everything up. And then I'm just gonna put the oil in and put the oil cap back on, and we're good. All right, guys, thank you for watching, and love, live, and learn. I'm out.
Now is my time to shine. When your time comes, don't postpone it. When others doubt it out, you don't condone it. Truth be told, yourself is your toughest opponent. When your moment comes, grab hold and own it.